Give me that. I gave it all for a fantasy. Is anybody gonna remember me? If I go tonight, I doubt the world will change. I just pray they don't forget my name. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy DIDN, man. Back on that YouTube video. Let's go, man. How you guys doing today, bro? Long time no see. I know, but you know the grind never stopped. We are back on that grind. Road 2,000 subs. You know, we had like 549 or 550. I gotta check again. You know, back on the reaction tip. You know what I mean? It's what it is, man. You know, I don't mind doing reactions here and there. You know. But yeah, today's video we got 10 things you didn't know about Jayson Tatum. Now there's a lot of videos like this on different players, James Harden, LeBron James, but I chose Jayson Tatum because you know, one is recent, and two, he's in the finals versus Curry and him, so it's kind of making perfect sense for him right now. I know a little bit about Jayson Tatum. You know, I'm a Bucks fan, so I'm still a little bit salty they beat us in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It should have been us, but congrats to them. No, I'm not playing. But yeah, but, you know, they did their thing. I know he was born in Missouri. I know he's an McDonald's All-American. He was picked third. You know, and I know he has a son. You know, so you know I know a little bit of stuff. And I'm not a diehard Celtics fan. Like I know, I'm pretty sure Celtics fans know a lot more than me. So yeah, man, let's get straight into it, man. Before we do anything, hit that like button, comment, subscribe right now. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. Anyway, yeah, and give me 1 second to do the screen recording. Hold on. A screen recording in 3, 2, 1. Click. 1, 2, 3. Pop out. Full screen. And play.
What you don't know about him? Like the time an NBA player forced him to break the law, or his deadly illness that could kill him at any second. Here's 10 things you didn't know about Jayson Tatum. And first, let's talk about the teacher who tried ruining his life. Growing up, Tatum was a lot like most of us. He loved basketball and dreamed of eventually becoming an NBA player. Until one day, Tatum's 4th grade teacher destroyed his dreams.
4th grade, the teacher told me, I want everybody to write a paragraph on what they want to be when they get older. What they
I thought that was a video of him.
When she came around me, I was like, you know, I want to be in the NBA. I want to be in the NBA one day. I want y'all to see me on TV. She looked at me. You got to pick something more realistic. I remember everybody in the class kind of laughing, and I felt this big. I was embarrassed. I remember I was crying. I told my mom.
These teachers, man, I swear they don't want to see anybody.
That's crazy, bro.
But thankfully,
what teachers do that?
Tatum's parents immediately began training him for the NBA. And that's what led to Tatum embarrassing a grown-ass man while he was in middle school.
Money.
By the time Tatum was a 5th grader, his parents were already preparing him to be a basketball superstar.
Money.
And they told him one day he'd be one of the best players in the NBA.
Yes, sir.
Now, his mom let him be, but his dad was ruthless.
I used to practice with him 4 to 5 times a week, and he would treat me like I was in high school. So if I messed up, like he was harder on me than he was the other kids, and like I used to cry every day on my way home. I used to basically almost quit basketball every day because of him.
Now at that point, Tatum didn't realize it yet, but his dad slowly molded him into the best basketball player of his age group. And at just 11 years old, Tatum already started dominating. Not only was he dropping over 25 points a game, Tatum was literally dunking on dudes 3 times his age. And his first victim was his own dad? Yeah, just look at this.
Got his ass.
And got so good at basketball. He was pretty much destined for the league. Until an NBA player made him do something illegal. It all started with Tatum's mom. When she wasn't training Tatum for the NBA, she played on a volleyball team. And became great friends with her coach, Besta Beal. It turned out Besta also had a son, Bradley Beal. And even though he was 5 years older than Tatum,
I think
once they hung out, they became best friends.
We grew up in the same neighborhood. He was like 4 minutes from my crib.
I know. I think I heard that before.
Role model, a perfect like visualization every day of where I wanted to
go. Whole
squad
full of athletes, moms, dad.
Now everything seemed all good until Beal pressured Tatum into breaking the law. At the time, Beal had just gotten drafted to the NBA. So Tatum was learning firsthand what it actually took to get there. But since Tatum was so young, Beal pressured Tatum into doing things he wasn't legally old enough to do.
Like what?
And eventually, Tatum learned the hard way.
Brad was the first person to take me to the club when I was like 16. He took me to the club a couple of times. My mama found out. My mom cussed Brad out in front of my house one day. Like, you got my son at the club. He still got stuff to lose.
Bruh, I just want to know what type of bottles a 16-year-old's popping in the club.
Crazy.
These? And come on, Beal.
I mean, I
you
understand.
take kids to the club, but you can't take your team to the playoffs? You gotta get your priorities straight.
Yeah,
For real, though. Tatum's mom let it go since Beal was literally an NBA player and could help Tatum make it to the league. But when the night came for Tatum's dreams to become reality, it turned into his worst nightmare. Tatum showed up on draft night, anxiously waiting for his name to be called. Because not only did he work his entire life for this moment, he had an opportunity to be selected by his dream team. And one by one, the picks rolled in.
With the first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Markelle Fultz. With the second pick, the Los Angeles Lakers select Lonzo Ball.
But what happened next completely devastated him.
Dang.
With the third pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics select Jayson Tatum.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was official. Tatum was a Celtic. And yeah, he looked happy in the moment, but deep down, he felt empty.
My favorite player, you know, my idol was Kobe.
It's Kobe, yeah. I think we all know that.
I didn't like the Celtics at all growing up. I only grew up. I was like, man, I'm gonna play for the Lakers. I'm gonna play for the Lakers. Honestly, I didn't even know where Boston was at. Like, I knew it was on the East Coast, but I never been there. I never thought about going there.
That's crazy.
So when I got drafted, I'm like, man, it's kind of crazy. Like,
I didn't know you hated the Celtics.
No, right. Eventually, Tatum accepted his team and vowed to give the Celtics his all. But despite him quickly turning into a superstar, he was about to meet the most embarrassing moment of his life. Tatum started his NBA career signing his own Nike deal. And within 2 years, his accomplishments drew the attention of NBA legends. Cause one day, Tatum's agent let him know that Michael Jordan wanted to negotiate a shoe deal. And, you know, Tatum was stunned that the GOAT even knew who he was. So, the decision was a no-brainer.
You know, we took a trip to Monte Carlo and Paris this summer, and that was kind of like my introduction to Jordan Brand, to the world, and meeting all the guys.
Now, a trip to Paris, negotiating a multi-million-dollar signature shoe deal, and hanging out with MJ? What could go wrong? Well, despite Tatum becoming a great player, he was still a kid, so the nerves kicked in. And that night when he pulled up for dinner, things got ugly.
And then that night we had a dinner. Everybody was there, so I remember I'm still nervous, right? So I walk in, MJ sitting.
I mean, who wouldn't be nervous though? The GOAT calls you like, I want to sign you. 10 times out of 10, you gonna be nervous. Like this, bro. If listen, I got a stuttering problem, and it come out here and there. But if I him, I'd be stuttering all throughout the whole dinner. I ain't gonna lie.
Down his wife next to him, but then I walk over to him and like my hand starts sweating, and I was like, "What's up, Mike?" And when I went to go shake his hand, I knocked over his wine glass on the table and it broke.
What? What? Hold on, man.
Embarrassing yourself in front of the GOAT? That's brutal.
That's crazy.
Not as brutal as the time Tatum's son humiliated the Celtics. This is Jayson Tatum Jr., aka Deuce. And you'd think a kid who looks like this is innocent, right? Well, he's actually a monster. Yeah, Deuce is constantly spotted around Tatum, showing up to games and post-game interviews. But behind the scenes, things have been getting violent. And one of Tatum's teammates is suffering the consequences. It's been kept a secret, but when Deuce showed up courtside to watch his dad play, he couldn't help himself and viciously attacked.
Deuce is always trying to attack
me. Oh my God! I didn't see that.
That's just who he is. You know, we all love Deuce, and he's our guy. So
why he hit him though?
Yeah, Marcus, you really in the locker room getting beat up by a little kid? If I were you, I would have kept that on the low, like Tatum's secret ritual. Since Tatum started playing basketball, he studied the greatest players. And one thing he noticed about the best is that they all have a pregame routine. LeBron's chalk toss, Stephen Curry's tunnel shots, Dwayne Wade's rim pull-ups. Tatum knew if he ever wanted to make it to their level, he needed a pregame ritual. Being a middle schooler, he didn't have many options until him and his grandma came up with an idea. Once they started, they never stopped. Tatum admitted, "I've done it since middle school with my grandma, and it's something that's carried to now. It just wouldn't feel right if I didn't do it. Before every game, I just have to watch Hoop Flicks. I subscribe because I know they're uploading new videos every week. But also before every game, I look up into the stands and I find my grandma. We know to look for each other before the game. When we make eye contact, I tug on my ear and she'll do the same. It's basically something to let each other know it's time to go out there and give
that's cool now.
To this day, he still does that before every game.
Okay.
And because Tatum strongly believes in superstitions, he thinks his hair is cursed. Yeah. Throughout Tatum's career, we've seen him rocking this cut. But out of nowhere, he came into the NBA bubble and said, "New pandemic, new me," and revealed his new curls. But he got his ass roasted. Someone said Tatum looked like James Harden and Trae Young combined. Even NBA legends jumped in on the fun. Now, Tatum laughed it off with some tweets,
That's
but
crazy.
the cyberbullying worked, because he wanted his old hair back. But before he had a chance, his family convinced him to keep it for a game or two. And in the first game of the bubble, things got ugly. Because not only did the Celtics lose, Tatum had the worst game of his entire career. And right at that moment, Tatum knew it was all because of his hair.
Cut it off now.
I played Milwaukee. I was 2 for 18. I couldn't buy a basket. And my trainer, he cut his own hair. Like, that's how desperate I was. So the next day, after practice, I'm like, yo, Nick, cut this shit out. He's like, you for real? I'm like, yeah, yo, I can't. So he cut all my hair off.
And what do you know? The very next game, after Tatum cut his hair, he dropped 34 points.
Hey.
When I get a cut, I think I'm top 5. Top 5.
But Tatum is the only one who thinks his hair affects his game. Even Donovan Mitchell admitted it. But at least Tatum's hair didn't affect him as much as his life-threatening illness. Throughout the pandemic, people suffered all across the globe.
Right.
And in the NBA, Tatum was one of the unlucky players.
Hey, man,
Once he got sick, the effects became so intense, it completely changed his life. Not only was he forced out of the NBA for weeks, he never fully recovered. COVID lowered Tatum's stamina, and he struggled with shortness of breath. And ever since he got back into the game, he hasn't felt the same. So he was forced to make a lifestyle change.
Right.
Like I take an inhaler for the game. Since I tested positive, I never took an inhaler before, but I for sure feel better now than I did a month ago.
You gotta feel for Tatum, man. Going through something like that would be tough on anybody. Maybe that's why he's been going so hard recently.
Yeah, it'd be tough on anybody.
Maybe it came from the most iconic story of his life. When Tatum was a kid, there was one person who inspired him more than anybody.
When I was like 4 and 5, my mom always asked me what I want to be when I got older. I was just like, I want to be Kobe. Yeah. She's like, you want to be in the NBA? It's like, no, I want to be Kobe.
And when Tatum finally got to meet his idol, Kobe shared some words of wisdom that stuck with Tatum his entire life. How much does being great, being a champion, mean to you? What are you willing to sacrifice? And ever since that day, Tatum became obsessed. Once Tatum made his way into the NBA, you could tell he'd been studying Kobe for decades. The man literally shows up to games wearing Kobe shirts. During games, Tatum's seen making the same moves as Kobe and taking the same shots. Hell, Tatum even started wearing an armband because of Kobe. And as Tatum became a superstar, he gained attention from the legend himself. Not only did Kobe break down Tatum's game on live TV.
If I'm Jayson Tatum, I'm really good at posting up. I'm really good in isolation. I'm really good at creating opportunities.
Kobe saw how effortless basketball came to him and had to invite our boy to a workout. The two planned to meet the next time Tatum was in LA. And right when the plane landed, Kobe gave Tatum some secret advice. Shoot every time. Pass if you have to, but if not, shoot it. Only Kobe, man. But the craziest part was, Tatum went so hard during the workout that he left Kobe wondering why the Lakers chose Lonzo Ball over him. Regardless, that day earned a special place in Tatum's heart.
Getting to meet Kobe and work out with him on a really personal level was like a dream come true. It meant everything to me.
Now at this point, Kobe wasn't just Tatum's idol. He became his friend. And I'm sure Tatum was fantasizing about teaming up one day. Until...
The LA Times is reporting that retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash.
Kobe's tragedy broke Tatum. And right after, Tatum let the world know that he was devastated. A few days later, Tatum's pain was showing during interviews.
He was the reason that I started playing basketball. And it's been a tough couple of days.
But Tatum knew Kobe wouldn't want him to stay down. So eventually, Tatum decided to commemorate Kobe, reminding everyone of his greatness. The next time the Celtics pulled up to Staples Center, the entire team came out rocking purple armbands for Kobe. And it was all thanks to Tatum. Not long after, Tatum also got inked up for Kobe, combining his famous nickname, the Black Mamba, along with his jersey number. And last but not least, Tatum did one more thing to keep Kobe's memory alive. Tatum traveled to Kobe's birthplace of Philadelphia to adopt a new pet, and he decided on a blue fawn French dog, naming him Bean, Kobe's middle name. Kobe was Tatum's everything, and these gestures prove it. So if Kobe was still here, he'd be proud of not only the player, but the man Tatum's become.
True.
But Tatum's not the only NBA player Kobe had an influence on.
Yeah.
Kobe also made a big impact
Giannis,
on
I was gonna say Giannis,
Antetokounmpo,
too.
and the story behind those two is even crazier. I know you want to hear more about that, so just click this video right here.
So I might listen. You know, I'm a big Giannis diehard, big Giannis fan, so I might man got a little bit sad and emotional at the end. You know what I mean? R.I.P. Kobe, man. Kobe one of the most influential people out of the whole NBA. Then and now, you know. But yeah, man, it was some stuff I did not know, man. I didn't know he had secret ritual with his mom. I didn't know his dad was a basketball coach either. I forgot to say earlier, but I knew he knew Bradley Beal really, really well. And it was a good video, man. Man, I'll love to do more of these, man. Like, comment, subscribe me if you like it, man. Follow me on my Twitter up here and Instagram. Put it up here somewhere. Yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the TV, man. That is why out and about.
Give me that. I gave it all for fantasy. Is anybody gonna remember me? If I go tonight, I doubt the world will change. I just pray they don't forget my name. These the game.